Gardeners spend years spreading wood chips, straw, and shredded bark across their soil. These mulches work, but they only perform half the job. They cover the ground, but don't actively improve it while they grow. Living mulch is different. Instead of adding a dead layer on top, you're building a living system that fertilizes, protects, and conditions the soil every single day. This approach has been used in orchards, vineyards, and traditional farming for generations. And when you select the right plant mix, it becomes one of the most powerful soil-building tools you'll ever use. Living mulch works by creating an active root zone that releases exudates, feeds microbes, fixes nitrogen, and shades out weeds before they have a chance to take hold. It keeps soil temperatures stable and, holds moisture far longer than bare soil or dry chips. The trick is choosing plants that grow low, spread quickly, and bring nutrients to the topsoil. Many gardeners, honestly, get frustrated because they pick species that compete with crops instead of supporting them. The method here uses plants with shallow or non-aggressive roots that enrich the soil instead of robbing it. The foundation of a living mulch system starts with white clover. White Dutch clover remains the standard for a reason. It grows low, spreads steadily, handles foot traffic, and fixes nitrogen continually. Its root system stays in the top few inches of soil, which means it won't compete with deeper-rooted vegetables like tomatoes, peppers, corn, or fruit trees. White clover is a workhorse, but never becomes invasive if managed correctly. A thin layer of it beneath your crops supplies a steady trickle of nitrogen as nodules release dissolved nutrients. For most gardens, 1 tablespoon of clover seed per 30 square feet is enough to create a dense but manageable base layer. The second plant in this mix is creeping thyme. Many gardeners overlook thyme outside of herb beds, but creeping thyme is actually one of the best living mulch species available. It stays extremely low, tolerates dry conditions, and attracts pollinators when it blooms. Its roots stay shallow, and the aromatic oils inhibit several fungal pathogens. When paired with clover, thyme adds fragrance, resilience, and disease suppression to your soil surface. You only need a small amount mixed into the clover seed, roughly 1 part thyme seed for every 5 parts clover seed. This keeps the thyme scattered across the surface without overwhelming the mix. The third plant completes the nutrient cycle, crimson clover, or hairy vetch. You only add this in small patches, never across the entire bed. Its purpose is to serve as a nutrient booster that pumps biomass and nitrogen into the soil early in the season. Crimson clover is better for smaller gardens because it stays tidier, while hairy vetch is more vigorous and better suited for large patches or orchard strips. A pinch of seeds sprinkled in the corners or around pathways is enough. These taller legumes rise above the main living mulch, bloom, feed pollinators, and then collapse into the soil when cut back. Once trimmed, their stems and roots break down quickly, giving your other mulch plants a nutrition boost. To make this system work, timing is important. Living mulch should be sown when your main crops are already established, ideally 6 to 8 inches tall. This prevents the mulch plants from competing for light during early stages. If you're preparing a new bed, you can sow the living mulch 2 to 3 weeks before planting your main crops, then chop it back lightly to open space for seedlings or transplants. The key is controlling height. Living mulch isn't meant to grow tall or form a dense jungle. It should sit low and form a green carpet beneath your crops. Preparing the seed mix is simple. Combine 1 tablespoon of white clover seed, 1 teaspoon of creeping thyme seed, and a small pinch of crimson clover or hairy vetch seed. Mix them with 2 cups of damp compost or fine soil. This helps spread the seeds evenly and prevents them from clumping. Broadcast the mixture lightly by hand, then water gently. If rain is coming, even better. The seeds germinate quickly, especially clover, which begins forming small patches within a week. By week 3, your soil will be shaded, cooler, and noticeably more moist. Caring for living mulch is minimal. Once it fills in, you can trim it occasionally to keep it from rising too high around crop stems. So a pair of scissors or a small shears works well. Every time you trim it, you're actually creating a micro layer of chopped green mulch that, feeds the soil surface. The roots continue working below ground while the cut foliage breaks down above. Over time, your soil becomes darker, softer, and, just so much easier to work. One of the biggest benefits is weed suppression. Living mulch blocks sunlight before weed seeds can sprout. The clover and thyme form such a tight canopy that, honestly, most annual weeds never even germinate. And the ones that do appear pull out easily because the soil stays loose and well aerated from constant root activity. By mid-season, you'll spend far less time weeding and watering because the soil remains shaded and consistently damp. Another advantage is long-term fertility. Living mulch releases nutrients in small but steady amounts. Unlike synthetic fertilizer, which spikes growth and then fades, this system provides a continuous, low-level supply. That's why many professional growers prefer it. When paired with compost applications in the off-season, living mulch creates a soil cycle that, only gets better each year. Once your living mulch is established, you can replenish thin spots by scratching in a little compost and overseeding lightly. You rarely need to water it once mature. It handles drought better than most ground covers and, honestly, protects the soil far better than bark chips or straw ever could. If you want a soil-building system that truly works while you sleep, this plant mix is, in my opinion, one of the most dependable methods you can adopt. It's simple, sustainable, and really incredibly effective at feeding your soil as it grows. If this guide helped you, make sure to subscribe to Gentle Herb Living and share this video with another gardener who wants healthier soil with half the effort.